How good was Rihanna? Actually, Rihanna hasn't released an album since 2016. That's long enough for a child born when Anti came out to be in middle school today. In that same time, Taylor Swift released album after album. Drake flooded the market. The Weeknd reinvented himself multiple times. Entire music careers started, peaked, and disappeared. And yet somehow, Rihanna got bigger. She became a billionaire, built one of the most successful beauty companies in history, headlined the Super Bowl, and remained one of the most recognizable women on the planet, which makes absolutely no sense. Because Rihanna broke almost every rule of pop stardom. She rarely tours. She doesn't write most of her songs. She disappeared from music for nearly a decade, and some of her biggest hits were written faster than most people can order lunch. One of them was written in less than 5 minutes while the songwriter waited for a taxi. Another was rejected by multiple artists before landing in Rihanna's hands, and several future smash hits. Rihanna turned down herself. So how good was Rihanna actually? Was she a once-in-a-generation artist? The greatest hit picker in music history? Or was she simply lucky? To answer that, we need to investigate one of the strangest careers music has ever seen. Because Rihanna wasn't supposed to become Rihanna. When she first appeared in the mid-2000s, she looked like another promising pop singer. Talented, charismatic, marketable, but not necessarily historic. Nobody was predicting that she would dominate music for the next decade. In fact, one of the biggest criticisms of Rihanna throughout her career was that she wasn't viewed as the best at any single thing. She wasn't considered the greatest vocalist. She wasn't considered the greatest songwriter. She wasn't considered the greatest dancer. And yet, she kept winning. By 2012, Rihanna was operating like a hit-making machine. And the secret wasn't what most people thought. Because Rihanna's greatest talent may have been something almost impossible to measure. Her ability to recognize a hit. Take SOS. One of Rihanna's earliest #1 singles. Most fans had no idea that songwriter Evan "Kid" Bogart secretly stuffed parts of the lyrics with references to famous 1980s songs. Little hidden Easter eggs. The song exploded. Then came Umbrella, the song that transformed Rihanna from a star into a superstar. But here's the crazy part. Umbrella wasn't originally destined for Rihanna. Multiple artists reportedly passed on it. Imagine hearing Umbrella for the first time and saying no. Rihanna said yes. The result? One of the defining songs of the 2000s. And this pattern kept repeating. Again, and again, and again. Perhaps the best example came in 2012. Diamonds. One of Rihanna's biggest songs ever. Producer Benny Blanco later revealed that songwriter Sia wrote the entire thing in under 5 minutes while waiting for a taxi in New York. 5 minutes. The entire melody. The lyrics. Everything. Blanco later joked that if the cab had arrived a little sooner, the world might never have heard Diamonds. But writing a hit and recognizing a hit are two completely different skills, because countless songs are written every day. Most disappear forever. Rihanna consistently chose the ones that didn't. And that's where the debate begins, because critics will immediately point out something true. Rihanna didn't write most of these songs. Many were written by professional songwriters. And that's correct. But here's the problem with that argument. If great songs automatically created great artists, the music industry would be filled with Rihanna-level superstars. Instead, most artists spend their entire careers looking for one signature song. Rihanna found dozens. Her first 8 albums all produced #1 hits. Think about that. Most artists spend years trying to create one unforgettable era. Rihanna created 8. And the strange part? Many of those songs weren't even originally meant for her. But before we crown Rihanna the greatest song picker in history, there's another side to the story. Because sometimes she got it wrong. Very wrong. Several massive hits slipped through Rihanna's fingers. We Can't Stop eventually became a career-defining hit for Miley Cyrus. Chandelier became one of Sia's biggest songs. The Chainsmokers wanted Rihanna on Don't Let Me Down before it went elsewhere. In other words, even Rihanna couldn't predict everything. And that's actually important, because it proves her success wasn't based on some magical ability to see the future. It was based on judgment. Better judgment than almost everyone else in the industry. By the early 2000s, the results were becoming ridiculous. 14 Billboard Hot 100 #1 singles, dozens of top 10 hits, hundreds of weeks on the charts, more than 250 million records sold worldwide. At one point, turning on the radio without hearing Rihanna felt impossible, and what made it even more impressive was her versatility. Most artists find one sound and stay there. Rihanna treated genres like outfits: dance music, pop, R&B, hip-hop, Caribbean influences, emotional ballads, club anthems. It didn't matter. She made them work. And unlike many pop stars, Rihanna wasn't trying to impress people with technical perfection. She understood something more important. Songs are emotional. People don't remember vocal exercises. They remember feelings. And Rihanna had a unique ability to make records feel effortless. But just as she reached the peak of her powers, something strange happened. She vanished. In 2016, Rihanna released Anti. Many fans consider it the best album of her career. And then, nothing. No new album. No constant promotion. No endless tour cycle. Years passed. Then more years. Fans started asking the same question over and over again. Where is R9? At first, people expected Rihanna to return quickly. Then the wait became a joke. Then the joke became a mystery. Because most artists disappear and become less relevant. Rihanna disappeared and became more relevant. Every appearance became an event. Every interview became news. Every rumor exploded across social media. And while the music world waited for her comeback, Rihanna was busy building something much bigger. Fenty. In 2017, Rihanna launched Fenty Beauty. At first glance, it looked like another celebrity brand. But almost immediately, something different happened. The company launched with an unusually wide range of foundation shades. Consumers noticed. The beauty industry noticed. Competitors noticed. And suddenly, brands that had ignored huge portions of customers for years were rushing to catch up. The phenomenon became known as the Fenty effect. Rihanna hadn't just entered the beauty industry. She had changed it. Then came Savage x Fenty. Then Fenty Skin. Then luxury fashion partnerships. And before long, something unbelievable happened. Rihanna was making more headlines for business than for music. Imagine telling somebody in 2010 that one day Rihanna's makeup empire would become as important as her discography. They would have laughed. But that's exactly what happened. Eventually, Rihanna became a billionaire. Not because of touring, not because of album sales, but because she successfully transformed herself into something bigger than a musician, a brand, a businesswoman, a cultural force. And that's what makes evaluating Rihanna so difficult. Because what exactly are we measuring? Vocals? Songwriting? Commercial success? Influence? Business achievements? Very few artists dominate multiple industries at the same time. Rihanna did. So how good was Rihanna actually? If greatness is measured purely by songwriting, there are stronger candidates. If greatness is measured purely by vocal ability, there are stronger candidates. But if greatness is measured by influence, hit-making instincts, cultural relevance, reinvention, and the ability to stay important in an industry designed to replace you, then Rihanna belongs in extremely rare company. Because the strange thing about Rihanna is that she was never supposed to win this way. Most legends build their careers through constant releases. Rihanna disappeared. Most legends become famous because they write songs. Rihanna became famous because she knew which songs mattered. Most legends spend decades trying to stay relevant. Rihanna walked away from music for years, and somehow became even more relevant. Maybe that's her real talent. Not singing, not songwriting, not even business, but understanding what people want before they know it themselves. And that's why, nearly a decade after her last album, millions of people are still waiting for whatever Rihanna does next.